This weekend story time with Aunt Phil, teaching through totem poles.
More than 100 years ago, a group of totem poles went on the road to educate millions on Alaska Native culture. As Laurel Downing tells us, they played a big role in telling people about the real Alaska. The year was 1904, and the then governor of the District of Alaska, John G. Brady, was asked to create an exhibit to publicize Alaska.
That exhibit would be shown off at the Louisiana Purchase exhibition in St. Louis, Missouri. And Laurel, Brady would choose totem poles to help tell Alaska's story.
Brady thought that totem poles carved by Alaska natives would bring in big crowds, and so then they could share the real Alaska with people in the lower 48, that it wasn't an ice box, but a land that offered much for tourism as well as development and settlement too. And so during 1903, Governor Brady sailed to Haida and Tlingit villages in southeast Alaska and asked their leaders if they would consider donating totems and other cultural artifacts. Well, some of them decided to trust him, and villages of Old Kasan, Tongass, Klawak, and a few others donated things and decided to share their culture with the rest of the world.
How many totem poles went on the road in total?
15 totem poles, 2 dismantled Haida houses, and a canoe made their way down to the St. Louis Fairgrounds. And a couple carvers went along as well in case some of the things had to be repaired before they were put in the exhibit. And when the exhibit opened in April 1904, these totem poles were such a hit that about 19 million people came through the exhibit. And then they learned about Alaska's past and heritage and resources.
So the exhibition would eventually close, but the totem poles, they would keep on traveling?
When the exhibit concluded that winter, the totems made their way to the Lewis and Clark expedition in Portland. And then they were set up on the shores of a man-made lake at the fairgrounds for people to enjoy. And when that fair ended, then the totems were ready for their long journey home, and they arrived back in Sitka in January 1906. And local carvers then repaired them and got them ready for their final home, which was Alaska's very first totem park in Sitka. Now, famous photographer E.W. Merrill designed the setup for the poles, and then labor from the local jail put the poles in place. Over the years, they had to be repainted and repaired and eventually recarved. But today we have totem poles that stand in monument to the Alaska Native culture in Sitka in that totem park.
Beautiful.
Yeah, to say the least. Now, next week, typically, this is the point in time where we tease ahead to what's next for story time. Next week is Thanksgiving. We don't have a show, so story time on hiatus. We'll get back to it 2 weeks from now.